Let me know how the volume is, guys. Let's have a look. Only trails. Trails or trials? Only trails, right? Treasure trails, excuse me. I slightly disagree with Bodhi. New skill in OSRS.
All right, welcome guys. A big one to...
That is a voice.
Today, Jagex has announced that they might want to make a new skill, finally. And normally I do these on Tea with Trails, which is a podcast I do on my main channel, where only channel members can listen to it, or Twitch subscribers. But I feel like I might hit bigger audiences here when I talk about this, and I do want more opinions coming in if anyone has any, so feel free to use the...
Oh, we got opinions. Oh, we got nothing but opinions. We're gonna be coming in with some hot fucking takes. Strap yourselves in.
Comment section as your own personal
It's a bit quiet.
blog and smack in there what you want. But I just watched the Bodhi video about a new skill, and I have a couple things to react to. I agree with a ton of points that he's made. I disagree with a couple, but overall I agree. Again, a lot of people are saying their biases, so I will say my bias. I think Runescape, or old school Runescape, would do very nicely with a new skill. I think it opens a lot of opportunity for gameplay. I think it makes it a more modern MMO.
I've always said, at least for the past, some of you guys might remember, because I can barely remember, so I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I've always been saying, at least for the past 6 months, that OSRS either needs or could do with a new skill. Thinking about it more and more, as of late, because it's become a topic, I don't think it needs one. I think it will do fun without one. But I think it can easily have one and it'd be fine too. I think the word need is... I don't think the game will die without a new skill. I think it will do great with a new skill though. I think it can definitely benefit from one. But I don't think it's going to die without one. You were against it the whole time? Was I against it the whole time? New skill? Are you sure? I feel like I was always for a new skill. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But thinking about it lately, a lot more lately, just like thinking on the subject, I think the game will be fun without one, but it can definitely benefit from a new one. My thing about sailing is, why does it need to be a skill? Why can't it just be new content like that? I think it would be. I think sailing would work better if it wasn't a skill. If it was just content added. I think that's what we were saying during the flipping old school video. 100%.
Which I think it needs to be in order to survive, because old players are not going to keep playing this game forever, and you're going to need new players. And already taken on the argument that old school RuneScape needs to be old school, it hasn't been for 8 years, let's be honest. If this was still old school, you'd be finding the KBD instead of raids. So the game needs to evolve, and the game needs to be deeper eventually, and you need to put the certain pillars in place so it can thrive on that aspect. One of those pillars could be a new skill. But I'll play my own devil's advocate, and I do agree that it needs to be good. Warding was more of a desperation vote for the people that...
Shithole is what he's meant to be saying here. Warding was a shithole.
Voted yes, I feel like. It made sense, but it wasn't fun. Or it would not have been fun, judging by the blog. Full transparency, I did vote yes to Warding because I just love to watch people grind a skill from level 1, get the old school excitement back, but I do agree that that was a desperation vote.
Nothing like a brand new viable skill like Warding.
Good enough to be in our game. And that's where I agree with Bodhi to one point. Now, I will be using some snippets of Bodhi's video to argue my point. Hopefully he doesn't mind. But Bodhi says this at 4 minutes into his video.
If they are ever going to bring a new skill to old school RuneScape, I think there should only be one more skill ever added to this game.
Which he proceeds to explain that if there's only one more skill in the game, it has to be a masterpiece, which I agree with. But that does not take away from the fact that you could have multiple masterpieces. Let's take the example of RuneScape 3, where, in my opinion, in all the skills they've added, they've only made 2 masterpieces. Now, I'm personally very biased against summoning because it ruined my old school RuneScape experience.
So I didn't enjoy summoning.
Let's just keep summoning out of it. The 2 masterpieces for RuneScape, in my opinion, are Invention and Archaeology. Invention is a genius solution to item prices and fits perfect.
I've been saying for a while that Invention would be great in old school RuneScape, and I think that they kind of missed the boat with that with Torva and Missouri. Although they could always rebalance it. It would just upset a lot of the fucking dickheads, but I think Invention, or an elite tier skill is never a bad idea, provided it's obviously balanced, right? Like when people say bring summoning to old school RuneScape, you're not going to get the summoning from 2008 put in there and then that's it. Like it's going to be balanced around the game, so it's not going to be the skill that you were playing anyway. It's going to be completely different, just the same name, same icon. I think the idea of invention is really smart and is really good at reviving or at least increasing the lifespan of dead / earlier content for endgame players. It makes... If Torva was degradable, Bandos isn't dying anytime soon. In 10 years' time, when Torva's been replaced, or when Torva moves on, or whatever happens, Bandos is going to die off. But if you need Torva and Torva was degradable, where you need Bandos, it kind of gives a little bit more life into Bandos 5 years longer than what it might already have. It's kind of awkward displaying because I'm an autist, but if shit's degradable, so you have to go back and grind Bandos to keep it going, that does make that keeps the content relevant a little bit longer. But people don't want degradable gear because Iron Man then have to grind it. I'm 1,000 kills. Well, my team's 1,000 kills of Bandos. Haven't seen a BCP yet, but 6 pairs of boots. You know, fuck that boss. If you are on an account that has access to the Grand Exchange, your excuse is shut up. You don't have one. Invention needs divination. If they can make an OSRS like invention that requires gathering skills, giving them item sticks would be good. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get invention from RS3 and go, well, it doesn't have divination. Just take the divination aspect. You just recreate the skill and balance it around old school RuneScape. The idea of invention just stays the same, right? Which is what invention's about. It's not about what skills make it accessible.
Perfectly into the game's combat. Something like it would not necessarily work in old school RuneScape because the combat system is so limited, but over on RS3 side of things, the item sync that it provides and the boost to combat is a perfect skill, and I would call it a masterpiece. Same goes for archaeology, a skill that would transfer perfectly into old school RuneScape. It's an absolute masterclass of a skill that adds the existing lore into a skill to learn more about the game. It's deep in its own because all the roots were already in the RuneScape lore, so it made so much sense. These are two masterpieces, and the one does not exclude the other. Further on, Bodhi makes the point that some skills would not be added into the game if they were pulled now.
It has to be the best skill RuneScape's ever seen to be added. Now, certain things like fire making and probably thieving, they would never be added to this day.
This is a dumb thing to say. I think this is a shit take, or a shit angle to look at it. Fire making, thieving, skills like that, or the idea of those sort of skills are just standard MMO, standard RPG, like, mechanics. Go play any fucking game. Fire making is in pretty much any sort of RPG game. Thieving is in... It's just like you go play Oblivion, go play... I don't know, WoW probably doesn't have a sort of thieving or anything like that. You know, games as simple as Fable to games as advanced as Final Fantasy. These are like, those aren't skills you're going to be polling. No shit, they wouldn't pass. But those are just aspects of a game. WoW has lockpicking. It's just like that's shit that makes an MMO. You don't. That's like, of course, that's not going to pass if you voted for it today. But like, fire making is part of an MMO. So I don't understand why it's like a question whether it would pass that or not. It doesn't matter. That's what makes the game a game, right? Hunting isn't really all that important, but I mean, if you're going to cut wood, you got to burn it.
In a poll, they're all trash. If Jagged's made a poll saying, "Hey, you can now cut logs,"
they could definitely use some work
to create your ammunition because fletching didn't exist. No one gives a shit. Now, obviously, there's probably an idea out of that you can kind of break down of what doesn't currently exist in the game and can go back to it.
Which I agree with to some extent, but they've made it make sense. Agreed, however, that we do not need skills like that in the game currently. We need something more innovative and engaging. But he does say that the fletching skill, if pulled now, would not be into the game, and I do really disagree with that. I think fletching is probably just a bad example, but that is one of the skills that I think would pass a poll because it just makes so much sense to be making bows and arrows. Not really the point he's trying to make though, so I won't go deeper into it. Further on, Bodhi makes the point that you should add sailing XP to certain pirate quests, which to me makes a lot of sense. However, please don't make the XP rewards retroactive like they recently did, because then people that have already done all the quests will already start at 30 sailing, and the
Just wait 2 weeks. Just be like, you get XP from these quests. When this is just an example, sailing comes out. These quests are going to give you sailing XP, but not for the first 2 weeks. Make people fucking grind out the skill, enjoy it, embrace the early game of the skill, find out the metas, go through the work that the Jagex team has put into the fucking skill. Then after 2 weeks, after a month, after once someone hits 99, go for the world first 99. Once someone hits 99, then we're going to put the XP drops in. Let people race to 99. Why not? We don't need the fucking XP drops. Don't skip the early levels. Fucking, you put all that work in. Make these people fucking do it. Just give me fucking 90k XP an hour from level 20. Don't give me this agility 60k an hour at level 90 bullshit.
The whole hype at the start
Without being AFK.
is going to be gone, so please don't do that, Jagex, if that ever happens. This is very rhetorical, because none of this is in the game at the moment, but that's just a little concern I had.
It opens potential shortcuts. You know, I'm at Piscatoris. I take
Shortcuts. Let me tell you something about shortcuts. Teleports. Ain't nothing shorter than a teleport. 1 click.
a Piscatoris banner, level 4, and there's a shortcut here, let's say, that takes me to Waterbirth Island Dungeon. That's faster than a Waterbirth telly, but might require 47 sailing. Random ideas like that. You can add sailing shortcuts across the game to all over the place. Different ways, different concepts, just new monsters, new bosses, new herb patch for the Iron Man, you know, new Slayer dungeon. It has infinite potential.
Huge. That is a fantastic idea.
Same. A new herb patch for the Iron Man would be fucking awesome.
A TLDR is basically that if a new skill comes to old school RuneScape, it has to be a masterpiece of a skill. Because I think if they do bring a new skill, it should be the only new skill ever added to the game. Game's almost...
I've been thinking about that more and more as well, because when I first heard Bodhi say that, I was like, yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure if I agree with it. I would be okay with it, but if there's two good ideas, why not add both eventually? You know, what if Jagex gives us 3 ideas and we're like, fuck, all these are good, all these could work. You could fucking add them all, you know. If there's a good idea that works, they're smart people. Could come up with something good. So I wouldn't set on that, but I would be happy if it was only 1 skill. If they added 2 skills, then max XP would sit at a clean round 5 billion. That sounds hot.
10 years old. They add 1 new skill. Do they want to add 3 more in the next 5 years? We don't know. They bring 1 new skill. It has to be something with infinite potential. And that infinite potential, I personally think, and ends a lifelong need in this game, is the sailing skill.
It is infinite potential, but I mean, I'm reacting to Bodhi's part here. Sorry. It is infinite potential, even if it's not a skill. Just put it in the game. Don't make it a skill. If you make it a skill, it potentially has a cap of level 99. You can remove that cap completely. I mean, it's a cap you're never going to reach, right? We're never going to live to see that cap, but it's an argument to make just to be a shit stirrer.
Agree. And also, I think adding the first new skill and it being a masterpiece might open up a window where we get more new skills, but of course, all of them need to be a masterpiece.
Yes.
Now, what do I agree on with the Bodhi video? As I just said, the skill has to be perfect. This doesn't take away from the fact that you can only have 1, though. You can have multiple. Sailing, hard vouch. I'm in. Just like Dungeoneering is for RS3, I think it could be the perfect scalable jump in, jump out content in the game. Let me define my view and like kind of Bodhi's view on sailing first, before we get any misunderstandings. You construct a little boat or ship, you sail to an island, you clear the island, which is some dungeon crawler-esque, randomly generated skilling and PVM encounters type deal, and when cleared, you gain a reward at the end. This doesn't have to be items or loot, it could just be XP and points. I really CBA about the rewards, really. Just like Dungeoneering, this offers
You can't be CBA about the rewards because the rewards is what's going to make it succeed, right? Because as I've been saying again, PVM-wise, especially for this skill, if it's not worth your time doing over the gauntlet, over raids, over Vorkarth even, why would you do it? Why would you spend 10 minutes doing a PVM dungeon when you can spend 7 minutes in the gauntlet and then die at Hunliff and close the fucking game? It's that's the problem you're going to run into. If it's not a skill, it's just less of a fucking burden, and you can just be like, yeah, fuck sailing, you know. But if it's a skill, then it's like, fuck, I've got to level sailing. You don't have to level it. You don't have to care about it.
Players from any total level and
So saying why AFK Bloods? Do you reckon it's like saying, well, why AFK Bloods? Because I don't have the money to. I don't want to get fucking 6,000 Bloods for 3 mil GP. So AFK them while I look at videos and talk shit. New pure boss list KC is the only way to level it. All new bosses. I think revolving a skill or an idea around purely just bossing that isn't like boss slayer is really hard to pitch to the majority of the community. No one wants to fucking, like, it sucks grinding 2,500 fucking KC Kraken just to get a jar of dirt.
Any combat level, an opportunity to jump
and
in.
You're gonna have that on many bosses, sorry.
Solo or with friends to actually use the skills you've been.
Is it, sorry, I do apologize for keep pausing. Is it worth AFKing Bloods over Gauntlet? Yes, because I get more Bloods per hour doing AFK Bloods for my Sang stuff than I do doing the Gauntlet to get Bloods for my Sang stuff.
Training simultaneously to give all the skills an extra use case. Little tangent, but I've personally wanted a skilling raid for a very long time, and this could be that, but of course, PVM is more generally accepted, so
Skilling
it'll have to
raid
be a combination of
would be a good
both.
idea.
But why not have dungeoneering at that point? Well, most people will argue because it's more like a minigame and it doesn't have enough depth on its own, which I kind of agree with. Sailing could give that extra incentive of transportation, just like Bodhi was saying. Across the world, transport and shortcuts would actually give meaning to the whole roguelike randomly dungeon-generated things you're running. With Gauntlet and Raids 1, we seem to already have enough dungeoneering-esque content, so in terms of a new skill, we are going to need more depth. And that's why I vouch that we change the name of sailing to exploring or exploration. This denominator encompasses way more than sailing ever could. That way sailing would also not hold the whole negative connotation that it's gotten throughout the years, because it's always been the name that's been tossed around when it started as a joke into now actually being a skilling idea. So exploration for new skill 2023. I'm in. I could make a video like this for over 10 hours, but a lot of opinions are gonna roll around and I do want to react to most, so maybe we'll make a part 2. Who knows? Leave it in the comments if you enjoyed.
Maybe he can react to this reaction. That'll be fun. Then we'll react to that reaction of a reaction to this reaction. I like that idea. I like it too. Only trials, only trails, only fans. Did I just really do one inventory of blood runes? You dickhead. Yes, as I've been saying in the flipping old school video and this one, I think the idea is great of sailing or exploration. The concept is amazing. I think if it's going to be, it could just be in the game without being a skill. If it's going to be a skill, it's going to fail. Or it has a very good chance of failing. Because then people feel the need to level it. If you make it a log or give it its own little section, its own area, its own square, where you can track it and develop it still, basically have it as a skill, but it's more of a progression that's not based around XP, but based around objectives or not experience, sorry, like just goals or however much money or resources you can funnel into it. Whether you make it viable or not is up to you. You know, you can funnel resources in, but you have to complete different objectives to unlock further materials for your boat or whatever. You know, that the idea of that, if you make it its own little log and not a skill, it is less likely to fail. It won't fail as a skill. You know, do you have an XP skill pitch out of interest? An XP, do I have a skill? Like, I don't really know. No, I haven't really spent enough time thinking about it to have my own skill to pitch. But I might think about it and see what I come up with. I don't want to see a combat related skill that relates to. Shut your fucking mouth. I don't want to see a skill that's related to combat levels, or that's like another combat style. I don't think we can get one. I don't think we need one. That's about it. I don't really mind. I just think the idea of sailing would work better and last longer and be more of a success if it wasn't a skill, but it was its own little thing. Like you got your current favor tab. All right, why not have your sailing tab? And then add the content. Go fucking wild. Why not? Like this tab here is a perfect example. Who the fuck uses this anyway? You go, view tasks. You want to unlock this stuff for your sailing. You want to unlock this stuff for your sailing. You have to do these tasks. You get these tasks, you can unlock this, these islands, so on. That way, it's not a chore. Once you make it a skill, it becomes a chore. That's my opinion. I think that is a pretty fucking solid argument. Would it be safe for level 3 accounts? Let me hit you with this. If you got a level 3 account that you're dedicated to just keeping level 3, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Probably assistant to the league tasks. Yeah, something like that, you know? Doesn't everything become a chore though? Existing becomes a chore, to be honest. I definitely like your idea more. Having new skills and OSR seems to take away from the old school feel a bit too much. Fuck that shit, man. Old school feel. So the only thing that's still old school about this game is the fucking fact you can see squares on the floor. This game isn't old school. It hasn't been old school for 10 years. I don't mind. My main concern about it becoming a skill is that it can fail. And I think that sort of content can not be a skill and do a better job at succeeding. That's my take. It's a hot take too.
Subscribe to my main channel. I don't really care if you subscribe to this one. And leave your thoughts. As long as they're substantial arguments, I'll hear them out gladly. Let's be a bit more open-minded towards a new skill, alright? If it's actually sick, then why not? You can tell me.
There we
See
go.
you later.
I fucking told you. See you later. Keen for that. Oh, it's recommending my videos too. Let's go. Here is the video that we just watched from Only Trails from his channel. Shut the fuck up. Make sure you go check it out. Pretty good. Not bad. 2 very good videos that we've reacted to. 2 very good pieces of content. I'll upload them and let them know too that I've reacted. See if they have anything to say about it. But that's yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the idea of sailing... I need to turn this music down. I think the idea of sailing would be better without the sailing skill. Person like warding or just something to add more varieties of magic armor to the game? Fuck that, dude. Terrible idea. I can summon an attack ghost while I shoot darts out of a snake's cock. I haven't felt old school in years. That's a fair call. Breeding animals? And what are you going to breed? I think sailing shit idea. I think sailing good idea. I think sailing as a skill, bad take. This is the easiest room in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him, goddamn. Fuck me, look at that boy. It's huge.